Hi everyone, it's Nikki here, and I really hope you all had a lovely summer. It's already September. I don't know where it went. It went so fast, so I'm sure it did for you as well. And I hope you managed to get some rest and relaxation over the summer period and some sunshine, that vitamin D, so important. And if you're having that back to school, back to work feeling this week, you're not alone. We've all got that. My kids went back to school. My son's just off to university next weekend. And it's all change and it's all new. But I kind of like September because although I love summer, it is good to get back into some kind of routine. And what tends to go with for me is over the summer is that I lose my little morning practice because I get out of routine. It's the summer holidays. We've been away, so in a different place, different routine, and I've just been sleeping in. It's been brilliant. But back to work now, and I'm back into my usual routine, which means for me getting up at around 6:30 and doing a little bit of a morning practice. Now I've been doing this for over 2 years, and the reason is that when I was at college studying nutrition and hormones, we did a whole lot about stress. Obviously, it's a massive issue. Cortisol is your stress hormone. I talk about it a lot. I write about it. Because it has such a massive effect on all your hormones and creates a lot of symptoms, especially for us women, especially midlife women, rushing around trying to please everyone, trying to do everything for everyone else and not really having much time for ourselves. So back then I thought I heard a lot about meditation, where there were lots of studies about how amazing it was and what it does for your cortisol and your stress response and therefore all your other hormones. And as I was going through my own hormone issues, I thought, oh, God, I suppose I better give this a try. I was so resistant to it because I sat down one day, did a YouTube video and it was a 20-minute thing, which was way too long to start with anyway. And I just couldn't do it. And I got really disheartened and frustrated. And my mind was just all over the place. And I thought, well, this obviously doesn't work on me. And I don't feel calm and peaceful at all. But I did persevere because of all the studies that were coming out and all the benefits were amazing. And everyone that I was following, all these gurus, health gurus, were saying they were meditating up to 1 hour, 2 hours a day. And I was going, really? Who's got time for that? But also, how on earth do you sit there and do nothing for all that time? So I persisted for a while, and I got into a bit of a routine. And what I realised was that, if I didn't know when I was going to do it every day, like if it wasn't in my normal routine, then it was never going to happen. So the only time I had was, the kids were going to school and I had a busy day and whatever. So the only time I was in the morning before everyone got up. So I got up like initially half an hour earlier than everyone else, and then just started experimenting a little bit. So I followed a few YouTube people, really started with short bursts. So I did like 5 minutes and then kind of built up to 10, and then started to get into it and feel the benefits. As soon as I started to relax and kind of feel my breathing slow down and not even worrying about all the thoughts, because I still had a racing mind, don't get me wrong. It was just, I could never empty my mind and not think of anything. That was just impossible. So, but what it did was, it did just basically force me to keep practicing. And after a few months, I started to feel the benefits. For me, there are tons of benefits already reported and studied. For me, the benefits were that I felt more focused during the day. I had more energy. I dealt much better with any stress that came along, so I was a lot calmer, and just felt a bit more grounded. Really, it's really hard to explain, and you don't even really notice it that much yourself, but other people will notice it. So my thing was that my son. So it was a half term or something last year, and for some reason we were doing lots of stuff, and I decided to take the week off my little morning practice because everyone was lying in and I wanted a bit of that as well. So I didn't do it for a week, and by the end of the week my son literally just turned around and said, "Mum, have you given up meditating?" And I said, yeah, how did you tell? And he goes, and he just said, you can tell. And obviously I was more snappy, I was a bit more impatient and whatever. But so that, it obviously showed. So I carried on and I got back into it. And I don't go crazy. I still had my weekend lie-ins and things, but I really, really noticed the benefits. Now, those are the benefits for me, but there are tons more benefits being in the literature. So obviously it's going to reduce your stress hormones and switch off that response. So that's going to get you feeling more calm. It's going to improve your mood, your brain concentration. You know, if you've got that brain fog going on, then it helps with that. It boosts creativity, focus, productivity, memory. It relieves pain. It reduces anxiety and feelings of stress. It actually helps to boost your immunity as well, because lots of cortisol over time will weaken your immunity. It increases fertility and sex drive. So who doesn't want a bit of that? Well, not fertility, but you know, not for me anyway. It reduces IBS symptoms, because stress does that whole thing with your digestion. It cramps everything up and makes it work a lot less. It helps with inflammation, so if you've got any kind of chronic conditions. It improves your sleep, of course, because if you manage cortisol, your sleep's going to be better. And it also reduces things like craving and binge eating and emotional eating, because you're much more grounded. You're not in such a stressful state, so your cravings are going to be reduced. And obviously that's going to help with weight loss. So it has these knock-on effects. And of course, the literature is also saying that it reduces long-term risks of cancer and heart disease. So that it's a total no-brainer thing to do, especially in our busy modern worlds. But the trick is that it's really hard to get into a routine. And that's, you know, I tell my clients day in, day out that they need to do this, especially the busy ones, the stressed ones, and the ones that say to me that they haven't got time. Those are the ones that need to do it the most, because that's a mindset thing. And if you haven't got time, you only need to do 5 or 10 minutes a day initially to get some benefits from that. So everyone, however busy you are, can do 5 or 10 minutes. So I always recommend you start with a 5-minute meditation. If anybody wants a 5-minute meditation, I've got one. I can send them. Just message me or post a comment, and I'll get your email sorted. We'll get that over to you. 5 minutes of just sitting still, being in the moment. You don't have to sit cross-legged on the floor, but just, you know, taking a bit of time for yourself. There's guided meditations all over YouTube. 5 minutes, from everything from 5 minutes to probably up to an hour, I don't know, or more. But there's something to suit everyone, and you just have to kind of, with everything, you just got to shop around and experiment. Just like yoga, you're going to find a teacher that you like, or a voice that you like, or something that works for you. Now, Headspace is one of the most popular apps out there. It's mindfulness meditation, but it's the same thing. So mindfulness is just a form of meditation. So it's the most popular one around at the moment, because it is quite easy to do. Headspace have got all sorts of different lengths of sessions, plus you know, things like walking and commuting and all sorts of things. So it's a really useful one to have. And just getting into the habit, so persisting with it. So even if you think you're not good at it, you're not meant to be good at it. No one's really good at it. It's just like your mind's like a muscle. It just needs that practice all the time. And I can still sit here for 20 minutes and just have thoughts racing around my head, and feel like I haven't done anything yet, still get the benefits from it. So you don't have to be good at it, is the main thing. So don't stop doing it just because you don't feel like you're doing it right. You'll get some benefits just from sitting still for a few minutes and breathing. Another good tip is to start small, even if it's just a few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, if you can only do that, and then do that for quite a long time, and just get into the habit of it every day. If you can have a little spot where you can do it, it doesn't have to be on the floor, it can be on a chair with your feet on the floor. You just have to have your back quite upright and just feel comfortable. And if you've got, like I do mine in the lounge every morning, because I can shut the doors and I'm looking out into the garden, so I can listen to the birds tweeting. I put a little candle on just for some, nice candlelight, and then, you know, I've got a playlist as well, so I can put some music on too. But you can do whatever suits you, obviously, whatever's easier for you and whatever kind of works. And for me, it feels like a real ritual. It feels like a bit of me time every single day, even though the rest of the day is like chaos. It feels like I've done something for myself, even if it's just 10-20 minutes. And I think that's really, really important in this crazy world that we live in. And as women, particularly when we're looking after everybody else and we're putting ourselves last, just that little bit of peace and quiet before the world goes crazy in the morning, for me, it really works. Other people, you might not be a morning person, you might prefer to do yours before you go to bed or in the bath or wherever you feel most relaxed. So I really hope that's helped you get over the resistance a little bit of meditation if you're not doing it already, and if you are doing it, amazing, because it's really doing you some good. And if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. But I don't want you to not try it because you think you're not good at it or because you just can't get into that habit. And I have posted on my page, there's a fantastic article that I posted on the page about forming a habit, meditation habit. So have a read of that if you haven't seen it already. It's by Jason Gutierrez. And I've also got a blog on meditation on my page, on my website. So let me know if you have any comments or anything like that on meditation, what you've tried before. I'd love to know if you're doing it, if you've tried it, if you like it or not. And I'll see you very soon. Take care.